mission, trying to get it right. Transition, changing the way that I see life. Transition mind. I'm on a mission, trying to get it right. I'm transitioning my life. Making a transition. Ooh, making a transition. Ooh, making a transition. Making a transition. I'm on a mission, I'm trying to get it right. Changing the way that I see life. Transition in my life. On a mission, on a mission, on a mission.
Welcome to Alchemizing Energy, y'all. Today, has been an interesting day. Well, yesterday I got a lot of information. I was kind of compelled to tell this story about this. That shouts out to Melanie Jones Said So. While we're all talking about what's going on with Diddy and LA fires and a lot of tragic things going on, Twitch boss and his family. Another story came across my desk that I found out through Melanie Jones about this young handicapped child that lost her life. Special needs child lost her life because the caretaker was steady scrolling on the internet. Now, listen, these phones have taken over our lives. We get on these phones and we can be very, very negligent when it really comes down to it. We're just unaware of what's happening around us. We got the earbuds in, and we think that we could do our job with earbuds on and this, that, the other. And there's a lot of oversight that happens. A lot of mistakes can be made. And so in this case, is a very sad and compelling story about a young lady who lost her life because the bus aide was steady scrolling on the internet instead of doing what her job was. So let's hear what Melanie Jones had to say. That
Hunter Tim School. What's going on, everybody? What's popping, everybody? What's going on with y'all? Welcome, everybody. Please smash that like button, like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend. Happy Wednesday, everybody. Of course, you guys know, as I bring you guys the celebrity tea, the YouTube drama, story time and the mess and things like that, I gotta bring you guys the real as well. I gotta bring y'all the real life news of what's going on in my surrounding areas and also in your surrounding areas as well. And if you guys want me to report or check into any stories for you guys can hit me up at melafthedark24@gmail.com. Send me the news source, that the story came from, and I'll check into it and I'll try to get on that and get the information out to you guys. Unfortunately, guys, this story is a big trigger warning. This story does not have a happy ending. This story is one that is rocking our area right now. One of the top stories that's rocking our area, and it's just an unfortunate story with an unfortunate ending. And I just wanted to shed some light on this story and just bring some light and carry on the legacy of this young child that lost her life. When there are children involved in any one of these stories that I report, I immediately get sensitive because children are innocent. And as a parent, you don't want anything to happen. And as a human being, you don't want anything to happen to children. So it's very unfortunate that this happened to this little girl, Faja Williams, R.I.P. Faja Williams. Y'all throw some 100 signs in the chat and throw some prayer hands in the chat. And our condolences go out to her mom, to her family, her classmates, her teachers. And it's just an all-around unfortunate story with everyone involved in this situation. Faja Williams was 6 years old, and she unfortunately lost her life on the school bus. Her mom loaded her up on a school bus. She is wheelchair bound. She is a child with special needs. Her mom loaded her up on the bus. Um, she was strapped into her wheelchair, and unfortunately, as the bus was taking her to school, traveling to school, as the bus like hit, as it, how like school buses and bus rides are very bumpy. They can be very bumpy and just unstable. And unfortunately, as the bus was hitting the bumps, she continuously slumped down, and and was continually slumped down in her wheelchair, um, which fatally strangled her. The harness, got too tight around her throat and strangled her, and she unfortunately lost her life that day. Um, it's a very hard story to report on, and I'm sure it's even harder for the mother to even process of what's happening and what's going on. This happened back in 2023, and the bus aide right now is um was on trial for manslaughter charges, and the bus driver. I mean, I'm sorry, not the bus driver. My apologies. The bus aide was charged with these charges because this bus aide did not pay close attention to this child like she should have. She didn't follow protocol. She was on her phone, checking through social media apps. Not only was she distracted with her phone, going on social media apps, she had earbuds in her ear, listening to music, taking personal phone calls, just doing everything outside of the guidelines of tending to this little girl and monitoring her throughout the ride. Now, mind you, the ride was only 30 minutes, but that was all it took for this little girl to lose her life and everyone's life to be turned upside down. So let's get into it, y'all. I'm going to take my banner down here.
So again, we're talking about negligence due to these devices. Some people don't realize how important their jobs are and how important it is to pay attention. I de-ice planes, right? And a lot of times, you're listening to walkie talkies going, and it's crazy like how many people were doing that and they still had their earbuds in listening to music. It's almost like we're attached to these phones, guys, and we have to like get rid of this attachment to these cell phones. All that dopamine and everything that you're getting off these cell phones. When you're doing a job as important as taking care of children, you need to be alert. Especially if you have a special needs children that can't speak for themselves or holler out or or know how to whatever, try to get your attention. So this lady was on the phone, calling people, listening to music, doing all kind of other stuff, but being an aid to the children and watching the children and being mindful of the children that were on that bus. Now imagine the heart wrenching thing for a parent to have to go through this. This is terrible, you guys.
And I'm just going to read a little bit of, just give you a little bit of the ins and outs of the story. Again, trigger warning if you're just now getting in the building. We are going over the unfortunate tragedy of young Fasha Williams, who was a 6-year-old child with special needs who lost her life heading to school on the school bus. She unfortunately was strapped into her she was strapped into her wheelchair, but unfortunately, as the bus was traveling and driving and going over bumps, she continued to slump further down in her wheelchair, and the harness got too tight around her neck and essentially strangled her. And that was her demise. The reason why that's, first of all, it's a horrible thing to happen anyway. But the reason why there's so much attention being brought to this story is because her bus aide failed to monitor her, to check on her throughout the entire ride. She didn't notice young Faja slumping down in the wheelchair. She didn't notice. She didn't hear her gagging, or maybe even yelling or making any type of sounds because she had earbuds in her ear. And she was strolling through social media apps, taking personal phone calls, listening to music. everything that she was not supposed to be doing while on the job when she's supposed to be taking care of this little girl. So let's get into this. I'm gonna take my banner down now, y'all, and we're gonna get into this. And this happened in New Jersey. Okay, this happened in New Jersey. And again, trigger warning, trigger warning. This is sensitive subject matter. This may be a little hard for some of y'all to get through. And I do, I apologize, for the details of this story. But I have to bring awareness to this for this little girl. Um, and she will somewhat get justice, but y'all bear with me, okay? We're gonna get into it, y'all. Hold on 1 second. Let me pull up my other screen. 1 second. Okay, let's get into it, y'all. Alrighty, so a New Jersey school bus aide charged in the 2023 death of a special needs girl who was strangled by her own wheelchair harness was found not guilty of the most serious charges Monday, after her defense lawyer tried to lay blame on the victim's family. Yes, her defense lawyer attempted to say her sister, who strapped her in, I'm guessing the family testified as well, or the reports, or however they got the information. It was made known to them that her sister, her older sister, strapped her into the wheelchair.
How old was the older sister? Why is she liable? Once a person gets on that bus, it's no longer the responsibility of the family or whoever's strapping them in to make sure that that child is in there safely. The aide should have actually helped in strapping the child in. What are we doing? Hi, Mel. How are you doing? How are you?
Hey, Genesis, I'm sorry. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Welcome to Alchemizing Energy. Yes.
Okay,
When
what's
I
up?
heard this story, I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, it was when I tell you it was so. Good morning, everybody. By the way, when I tell you it was so gut wrenching and so hard to like report on the situation, but I had to bring awareness to it because this incident actually happened back in 2023, and this bus aide is actually just now going to trial. So this has actually been 2 years since this mother and this family has been going through the situation. And at the time, the little girl was 6 when she passed away. So she would have been 8 this year. She would have been turning 8. And I just can't even imagine as a parent, as a mother, what that's like to miss your child, for 2 years, I'm saying, let alone 2 hours, 2 days, and things like that. So this mom has been going through it. And I'm not sure how old the older sister was. They didn't really give much information. Well, I didn't see much information on her age, but the thing was, this little girl was born, with disabilities. Um, Now, and they also didn't say like how long she's been wheelchair bound, but
Do you
I'm
know what the
guessing
disability is? Was it just like
she's autistic, and I'm not sure what her mobility issue is, but she does have a mobility issue because she
and
she was wheelchair bound.
see a lot of autistic kids are probably like nonverbal
Right.
things
And
like
that
that. So she probably couldn't scream out.
right.
Didn't know how.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And that's what it was as well. And the thing was that just it was just many things that just stuck out to me. One was her older sister, her mom, they've been taking care of her since birth. She was 6 years old at the time. I'm sure they've strapped her in that wheelchair many a day, many, what I mean, every day of her life, going to school, just that, or just going out to do their daily routine or things like that. They know how to strap that little girl in. And also, if her sister was even, and I even tried to play devil's advocate a bit, if her sister was even negligent a bit, it was your job as the aide to make sure that girl was secure in the harness and secure in her area on the bus, because she was actually placed at the back of the bus because she has like a larger wheelchair, so she could, what I'm saying, so they had to put her at the very very end of the bus.
That should be a thing too. I mean, why should they need to be refactoring those buses? If you have
That part.
a nonverbal child, she or whatever that's having like this on a wheelchair that
Right.
can't say anything.
Right.
Shalom, hello, hallelujah, all praises to his name. Hello, shalom. If you have a child in that situation, they should have that person at the front of the bus so that somebody could know if they're in duress or not.
Right. And
There's
it, and
Go ahead.
the crazy part about it was, Genesis, the crazy part about it was she was the only child on the bus. That lady only had one job, was to watch her. That's it.
What? She was
She
the
was
only child on the
she
bus.
was literally no. I didn't show when I played, because I'm gonna play some of the audio from the newscasters, that the news report, but I didn't want to show the little girl's face out of respect for her family. I didn't want to keep, showing her face over and over, on different blogs and different channels, because that's so gut wrenching for a parent. So I didn't want to keep showing, out of respect for her memory. I didn't show it, so I kept my banner up. She was literally the only child on the bus, and this bus aide was literally sitting in two seats in front of her, which means that little girl was behind her. How can you see behind you?
Exactly. What are you? And then your head's down, looking at the phone the whole time.
And whole time, and with earbuds in her ear, so even if the little girl was nonverbal, you can hear her gagging, coughing, choking, something you couldn't even hear because you had earbuds in your ear.
Oh my God, that is just awful. So,
when i when I tell you
I-
it's the craziest story I've ever heard, craziest story I've ever heard.
and so did they end up blaming the sister?
Well, they tried to. That's what the defense tried to do. They tried to say, oh, the sister didn't strap her in properly, and the mother didn't delegate or oversee the sister strapping her in. If that were the case, she would have already started slumping down from before they even started putting her on the bus.
And you know
She,
what's so crazy?
Mhm.
That sister sounded like the sister was a young, probably a teenager, or maybe like the older, like probably a teenager or something like that.
Right,
Probably
right. That right, and that's what I'm guessing, because when you if when you actually, and I can send you the link to the actual the newscaster. When you see the mom, you can see she's fairly a young age. So her older sister had to have been in her teens,
right,
because
right.
the little girl was 6. So it wasn't like she was like an adult, or someone that even has children of their own. You could she's a teenager. But my thing is, she would have already been slumping down before she got on the bus. She started slumping down as the bus was driving to the school and was hitting bumps, and then she started going lower and lower.
So
And
was
that
this a larger bus or like a
a,
shorter bus?
a large bus. It was a
A
large bus.
large bus. Why in the back? That's
Yep.
crazy.
Yep.
There's a lot going on with this story.
A lot
Why
going a
why they
lot
need a
going
big
on.
huge bus for one person? Number
Yep.
one.
Mhm.
Why is the seating to where the caretakers in the front instead of the back where they could monitor the children on the bus, and to see if there's an issue going on. It's so many things to unpack here. Like, what is going on with these buses? And why are you in this huge bus and then you all the way to the back? That's crazy.
Mhm. Yep, it's crazy. I was like, I couldn't believe it when I heard it, and I said, "That mom." And again, I know no amount of money is gonna bring her child back, and it's not gonna heal her hurt. But I'm sorry, these people have to be held accountable. This happened in New Jersey. That school system, New Jersey, that educational system needs to be, revamped. Bring awareness to it or something. The bus company, everything. Because, and again, the literally, she was the only child on the bus, and the ride was only 30 minutes. That little girl lost her life in 30 minutes. It's the
And
craziest thing I've ever heard about.
they need, and I'm sure that there's probably rules and laws as to not being on your phone and all this stuff during work, especially dealing with special needs children.
Right.
So
And
I
that
don't understand why she even had a case or even tried to like blame it on somebody else. That's
and
your job.
that's what I said. But I said, you know what? I said, of course, the laws of the land, our judicial system, she has the right to a proper defense and this, that, and third. But I'm like, to blame that family was just so cruel to me.
Cold, cold
Cold and
hearted.
cruel. Yeah, cold hearted. I said, how dare you? That lady lost her child, and you gonna say it was her fault? I was like, wow. Yeah, Genesis, I couldn't believe it. When I was reading up on the story and I heard about it, it was rocking shockwaves in this area. And I was just like, I have special needs nieces and nephews, and I have special needs children in my family. Like, just hit home. I was like, that's wrong. That's just, and you only have one job. You couldn't sit next to her. What, for a 30-minute ride? You had to sit in front of her
I
and
mean, unless they just have that whole back seat like just emptied
right.
out before. But to me, I need to see what this bus looked like because I'm like, was it like a special bus like that had the wheelchair thing with the lift and everything? Normally, the lift is right next to the door. Like you come in, the lift comes, and then you're parked right next to the door to make it easier to get right back out. You know, you just push the wheelchair forward, the lift goes down.
Right.
So they didn't even have the right bus. It sounds like to me.
And also the thing was, and I thought it was because you know how, like because like on our New York City buses, like even when like you know adults in wheelchairs, when they come on, they strap them in with a seatbelt. They'll strap their wheels in, you know, to keep them in place. I thought they put, you know, did a seatbelt over her, you know, like over her chest area, and that's what did it. It was her own harness on her own chair that
That's
strangled
why they're
her.
trying to blame the family, saying that they had
Right.
that harness. Okay.
Right, and that's what it was. It wasn't even the harness from the. It wasn't even a seatbelt from the bus. It was her own harness on her own chair. So they said they strapped her in wrong or improper, and that's how that happened. And when it did not, because she was in they've done it day after day, you know, all of her life, you know, up until the end. So it's just I was just like, don't do that to them. Don't try to shift the blame on them. That's not right.
So let's hear some more what happened with the story. That's crazy. This is sad, y'all. This is a mess.
Now he tried to say, her defense lawyer tried to say that the young lady, her older sister, didn't strap her in properly. As if not to add insult to injury, that little girl lost her little sister. A mom lost her child. This bus aide was negligent. She wasn't even monitoring the little girl. And to add insult to injury, you are going to try to blame her sister for the situation. She's already traumatized. She's already grieving. And you are going to try to blame her sister for something, first of all, that they've been doing. The little Faja Williams was 6 years old. I'm not sure how long she's been in a wheelchair. I don't know if she's been wheelchair bound since she can, since she was, of the age to walk. I'm not too sure. But I'm almost certain they're well aware of how to strap this little girl in because they live with her and take care of her every day. In the 6 years she's been alive, this just happened recently as of late. Well, actually, right. So she was 6 at the time. And this was in 2023. So
So she probably is in first grade. She's probably in the first grade. So they've probably been doing this for at least a year, getting her on the bus, getting her to daycare, getting her to this, that, the other, using that strapping her in. This is not something new. And I know that even nonverbal autistic kids know how to make noises. You know what I'm saying? So I'm sure that child was making some kind of a noise, something, They might not speak or whatever, but they'll make noises. So this woman just there's no excuse for this. There's no excuse. Did you have any images of the bus when you did this story, or do you have any images of how this bus was laid out?
I can send you a link of the news report, and they showed like video. They actually showed like actual video. So that's why I played it on my channel, but I kept the banner up because I didn't want to show her face. But if you want, I can send you the link to it so you can, if you want to pull it up.
Yeah, I can't. I would like to because I want to get people a visual to understand.
I got you. Okay, can you just give me like 1 second? I'm gonna mute up real quick, and I'm
that's cool. I'm gonna play some more of your thing.
Okay, got you.
I'm sending it. Not guilty of the 2 manslaughter charges, which held a penalty of up to 20 years. She was found guilty on endangering the welfare of a child, and that charge can get her up to 10 years. I mean, the jury was split. According to the reports, the jury was split on whether to find her guilty or innocent. So I'm guessing they split hairs and sentence her, to what they felt was fair. As a parent, as a mother, no sentence is ever going to be fair because
Good morning, Fly Boss.
Your child is no longer here, and there's nothing you can do to bring her back.
Good morning, Cookie Dough.
Whether this lady serves 1 day or 100 years, her child is still gone.
And they even dropped the manslaughter charge. They dropped. So listen. She had a manslaughter charge. They reduced it down to negligence. Let me tell you something. You know, if this was another person, our, if it was a, one of our people, they would have went straight to manslaughter. There would have been no questions asked. They would not have dropped that charge. Like, we also have to like think about how the judicial system will let people off. Um, I'm saying will not give them the full, like, throw the full book at them. Then the jury's up there like acting like they don't even understand. Like, come on now, how these juries don't have no come on. What about what if this was your child? I don't understand the jury being split on this. Like, bro, if you have your child into a harness and the person is scrolling on the internet with her earbuds in, shouldn't have had earbuds in. If you want to scroll on your phone, fine. At least be able to hear. You know what I'm saying? Why would you want to be completely desensitized in a situation where you're caring for a child? But I think that she had been doing this for so long that she just was so used to it. She's thinking everything is fine, and she just probably been doing this, scrolling on the phone.
I'm very, very angry that this bus aide was negligent. She also claimed that she wasn't trained properly. However, according to the company, they did say they trained her properly. She is 27 years old. And I'm not trying to age discriminate, but that is fairly young. And we already know how everyone is these days with social media and the phones. But just a common sense, common sense couldn't kick in a little bit. This child is special. Is a special needs child. She can't communicate well. Her mobility is not 100%. You wouldn't think to just peek back, turn around, and look at her every now and again during the ride. It was only 30 minutes. It was only 30 minutes.
Only 30 minutes, you guys. Only
If
30
you just maybe peek back once, you would have.
Well, I wonder how far into the ride did she notice that the poor child had been passed away. She had to have been gone for a minute for it to even end up in her passing. You know what I'm saying? Because
she didn't
normally can render aid or like do some CPR. She probably had passed earlier on in the ride.
Yes. When she got to the school, she flagged. She ran into school and got the school nurse, and the school nurse started CPR, and they called 911.
So why don't she know CPR? What the hell?
This is the part I'm talking. She had to go. She ran into school, got the nurse, and
she had to get the nurse.
Yep.
So who knows how long on that ride
she'd been unconscious.
Something was wrong. She was unconscious, and she didn't know CPR to be able to say, "Stop the bus, let me render aid." See, that's another thing.
Yep.
A lot of missight in this situation, and
a lot.
Right. So that family needs to sue that bus company, needs to sue her, need to sue everybody.
The DOE, Department of Education, all of it. They need to sue the city, all of it, because everyone was negligent. How didn't the bus driver know CPR? How didn't the aide know CPR? Why did they have to get all the way to the school to get a nurse? A school nurse to go and render aid to that girl who they had to call 911 anyway. It's crazy.
So even the nurse couldn't even revive her. See
that part.
I don't know whether that's the rule of it. If someone is hurt, you have to get to the school and get the nurse.
Right. I didn't know.
Imagine that amount of time it took for her to go get the nurse.
Right.
The nurse to come running out and give her that. So she's down that whole time, not breathing
with no oxygen. Yeah, and that was the thing. And my thing was like, you had to, if you didn't even have the earbuds in, at least you could have heard her gagging, coughing, or heard off, sounds that would have triggered you to go, what's going on back there, and turned around and looked at her. But she couldn't even hear her either because she had the earbuds in.
Man, we need to start teaching our kids with these devices, man. What if you have a job or whatever, do your job. There should be a rule that they're probably going to come up with some legislation on this, about earbuds.
And that's what I said. That's what I said at the end of my video. Unfortunately, this girl, she's going to be an example of a precedent that's going to be set, and they're going to, have different protocols and things like that in place to, to avoid situations like this going forward. But unfortunately, she had to be the example.
All right, so 27-year-old bus monitor Amanda Davila took the stand in her own defense on Thursday. This was on what date was this? Thursday, January 9th. Williams slipped down in her wheelchair and the strap securing the chair to the school bus tightened around her neck. So the strap securing the chair to the school bus, that sounds like the school bus strap tightened around her neck, suffocating her. So she slipped down in her wheelchair. So that means so what they're trying to say is that they didn't have her strapped up secure enough onto the seat. So that made the school bus tighten around her neck, the actual harness on the school bus harness.
Right. And as you can see, you see how she's all the way in the back. You see there are no other kids on the bus.
Or is it up here or down here?
It's in that video with her on the stand right there. I think. Yeah, you see right there.
Okay. See, so there is a seat right next to her. So okay. All right. So let's look at this. So there is a seat right next to her that she could have sat in.
Yep, and she could have saw her immediately. Yeah, and she chose to sit in front of her.
Wow.
She sat in that seat right in front of her. So
and it looks like she had her bags or something like right here that she could have so she had her back, but she chose to sit at the front. Let's look at this, y'all.
Bus aide charged in the death of a 6-year-old girl in a wheelchair. The shoulder strap securing the wheelchair strangled the girl on her way to school in Somerset. Now, prosecutors claim the bus aide, Amanda Davila, was on social media and texting when the child died. Here's New Jersey reporter Tony Yates.
Bus monitor Amanda Davila took the stand admitting she didn't follow training procedures, but saying she doesn't deserve the punishment she may face.
I made a mistake. But you guys.
What? She doesn't deserve. You don't deserve it. What? Like already we starting off on the wrong foot. What are we saying here? She admits she's negligent, but she don't deserve. Negligence is negligence, man. What do you mean? I don't deserve the treatment or whatever. She didn't. The baby
New Jersey
didn't
reporter
deserve
Tony Yates.
The baby didn't deserve.
The girl on her way to school in Somerset. Now, prosecutors claim the bus aide, Amanda Davila, was on social media and texting when the child died. Here's New Jersey reporter Tony Yates.
Bus monitor Amanda Davila took the stand admitting she didn't follow training procedures, but saying she doesn't deserve the punishment she may face.
I made a mistake. But you guys are trying to put me away for 10 to 20 years on a mistake.
There's a dead girl.
I know and understand that.
But it's not your fault.
I'm partially to blame, but there's other people to blame too.
What?
Genesis, I can't make this stuff up. I was like, is she serious? She's serious. This little girl is gone. This lady lost her child. And you really gonna say I'm partially to blame, but other people are too? No, you are literally to blame. It was one child on that bus and you were there to secure her and keep her safe. And you did not do that. You are to blame. The lady didn't feed, her mom she didn't have any food in her mouth. She didn't give her something to drink and she choked on it. She didn't give her, she didn't have a necklace around her mouth, her throat or anything. You were literally to blame. And when I tell you, she tried tooth and nail to get out of that. But keep on watching because she's gonna get a little, the mom gets a bit of justice. I was appalled too when she got, not guilty on those manslaughter charges, but the family does get a bit of justice.
But hold on. I'm looking at this thing right here. She's the one strapping her in. The sister ain't there.
Yes, that's what I said. That's what I said. How do you blame the sister when they handed her over to you? Once I hand my child over to their teachers, their doctors, if you go Girl Scout, whatever it is that I'm handing, if over to a friend's house or a neighbor's house, once I hand my child over to you, I'm ensuring their safety with you. How dare you try to shift that back on me? The lady wasn't even on the bus with her. Her mother wasn't, the sister wasn't on the bus with her. It was just you. You literally had one job and you failed to do that. I don't understand. I don't get it at all.
And she is the one who strapped her in. Make no mistake. She's the one who strapped her into the harness from the bus. As you can see, the strap is going around her body. There's like the strap from the that she's in here, and then there's a strap here. So between these two straps, that's where she probably slumped down and began to choke. But here's the thing, is that you're the one strapping her in, you're the one putting her in, you're the one doing all this. So what are we saying here? They made it seem like the sister came up on the bus and strapped her in. No, it was you.
Right. It was, and from what I gathered, what I how I interpreted it, it was like they were saying she was already improperly strapped in before she even got on the bus. So that's how, what I mean? So that that attributed to it. And I'm like, no, this woman right here strapped in when she got on the bus. And again, even if the sister didn't even secure her properly, you strapped her in again when she got on the bus. So it's totally your fault. You didn't even double check to see if everything was okay with her. And you didn't even check on her throughout the ride, which is what you were there to do. You weren't there to scroll on your phone and to talk to your friend. She made personal phone calls. She was scrolling through Instagram. She
Oh my-
admitted it on the stand.
What?
Strangled the girl on her way to school in Somerset. Now, prosecutors claim the bus aide, Amanda Davila, was on social media and texting when the child died. Here's New Jersey reporter Tony Yates.
Bus monitor Amanda Davila took the stand admitting she didn't follow training procedures, but saying she doesn't deserve the punishment she may face.
I made a mistake.
Okay, well, okay, let's look at this. All right, so you see that so this is the strap that they have on her. And then she's going to strap her in another way.
You guys are trying to put me away for 10 to 20 years on a mistake.
There's a dead girl here.
I know and understand that.
But it's not your fault.
I'm partially to blame, but there's other people to blame too, not just me.
Davila and her attorney, Michael Policastro, maintained that 6-year-old nonverbal and disabled Faja Williams died because she was incorrectly strapped into her wheelchair by her sister or her mother. As Faja slumped in her chair, the bus's shoulder harness cut off her airway.
Did you notice that she wasn't harnessed incorrectly?
I didn't notice that till we were at the school.
Prosecutors say
Till she was at the school.
Meaning she didn't check on that girl once throughout that ride.
That's
Not
not
once.
30
both
years.
years.
I didn't notice that till we were at the school.
Prosecutors say there is no proof the family was at fault.
In the video, you can tell she was sliding down, so it wasn't buckled in.
It wasn't buckled in. But you said you didn't really look at her when she got on the bus.
No, I did not.
The jury was shown the entire bus ride to Claremont Elementary School. Davila constantly on her phone, earbuds in both ears, seated in front of Faja, not checking on her at all during the ride. Prosecutors say her one job that day was looking after Faja's well-being, and she didn't do it.
This is the body cam from Detective Dockery. That's what she would have seen had she been sitting where she was supposed to. Because
Where she was supposed to be sitting.
she sat in the empty seat.
Exactly.
Even if she's on her phone. Oh, right? Come on.
A nurse at Claremont performed CPR on the child, but she later died at the hospital. Davila faces aggravated manslaughter and child endangerment charges. Jury deliberations have begun. Faja's mother says she will be at the courthouse waiting.
It is heartbreaking and it's disturbing to keep reliving it and to have to physically watch my daughter suffer.
In Somerville, Tony Yates, Channel 7, Eyewitness News.
I'm not going to play that no more again because I hope our mom doesn't get to see that. But, I just wanted to at least give people like the, understanding of what exactly happened in this situation. Man, I'm so glad that you covered this because, man, there's so much other stuff going on, so many other distractions. And this is just people ignore stories like this when all this other stuff is going on,
Right now, Mayor Eric Adams is in Florida ahead of his high stakes meeting with President.
And I really felt compelled, to bring awareness to this because this little girl lost her life to me for absolutely no reason. It could have been avoided. My thing was, even if you were sitting in front of her, to the left or to the right, when we're at work, we're supposed to be professional. You're not supposed to be on your cell phone. You're not supposed to be scrolling through Instagram and things like that, especially if you work at certain places that give you job phones and things like that. You shouldn't be on social media at all. So she felt this little girl altogether. And for the mere fact you put in earbuds to tune her out, you totally wanted to tune her out. She was the only child on the bus.
And she's autistic. Let me tell you, like when you have autistic kids, they do probably make noises and stuff like that.
Right.
And she probably was trying to tune her out because she might want to be
Right.
since she's nonverbal. she might be, make little noises here, whatever. So
Right.
that's probably she's trying to tune that out so she can
Right.
zoom in on her Instagram
Right.
while she's scrolling.
Right. And she's thinking, oh, it's just a 30-minute ride. It's gonna be a quick ride, just the same as any other day. I'm sure she thought it was gonna be like any other day. But that day wasn't a great day. And that mom is forever changed. That her sister is forever changed. That's terrible. That's
And then
terrible.
to be like so just worried about herself. You're trying to give me 10 to 20 years for a mistake. Well, honey, that is a grave mistake. If you have negligence
Exactly.
behind a mistake, it is what it is.
That part.
I like drink alcohol and I go out and I run somebody over and they pass away. I get
Yep.
20 years, 25
Yep.
years.
Yep. That's a mistake. You got to pay for your mistake. That's
They
your
have
poor
to have the
judgment.
same laws with these phones because same thing. I could like be in a car and be driving and look down at my phone and hit somebody. They'll get those records and I'm going to get manslaughter. Make no mistake. That's why they say don't text and drive, right? So you can't text
That
and drive.
part.
You should not be able to text and look after a special needs child.
Right.
That was your job that day.
Right.
Too bad, so sad. You know what I'm saying? Just
Right.
have good behavior throughout the time that you're in prison and make sure you get out in the 10 years because they normally don't give you the full time. So
Right. And my thing, and again, I know, again, I was trying to fully understand the scope of things. I was trying to understand different perspectives. I said, okay, maybe she was, doing this or doing that. But in my head, I'm like, common sense. This child of special needs. You are there to be their extra eyes and ears. You are there to, to fill in the gaps where they, what I mean, where they can't verbally communicate themselves or where they can't physically move themselves or do what they need to do 100%. You are there to fill in the gaps of that. You didn't even do that. But she was found guilty on neglect of a minor child, and they did sentence. Well, she hasn't been sentenced yet. She's facing up to 10 years. So
they'll probably give her 5, because
that part. They're probably gonna give her 5, and I'm just like, because that's New Jersey, so don't get me wrong, I'm not too sure about their judicial system and how hard they are or how lenient they are on people, but it's just unfortunate. And again, even 10 years, 20 years, 5 years, that lady's child is gone forever. So
forever.
every birthday is gonna be hard. Every Christmas is gonna be hard. Anytime any a play or any cartoon that comes on that she like to watch, a song that comes on she love to hear, it's gonna be hard for this mother. And she has in the saddest part about it, she has to keep it together because she has another child. She can't completely lose it and wig out and just check out of life. She has another child to care for. And it's just sad. And for that lawyer to try to blame them, and even for that to even be offered as a defense, I don't know what the judge could have did or refused it, but that was just so terrible. But I'm glad they didn't even entertain it or find the family, liable at all or responsible at all. But for them to even introduce that idea was just despicable to me.
Yeah, I think it's crazy that the jury was hung on that situation. Like, clearly the lady is not paying attention. Clearly she sat in the wrong spot. Clearly
Right.
she was not doing her job. Clearly that that she is liable for that child.
Yep. And also, as I was it was another news outlet that had visual and audio, they did a report on it as well, and they also indicated, as the mother was watching the video, they actually, they had to play it in court. She just slumped over and wept as she saw her child taking her last breaths and choking on the harness. She actually had to watch her daughter losing her
Oh
life.
my God.
Yeah,
No.
that's what I said. It was. I couldn't even show it. I said no because everybody's gonna be replaying it. She's gonna see it on the news. It's on social media. Yeah, of course, it's the digital footprint. It's embedded. It's gonna be there forever. I couldn't play it. But I'm glad you played it on your channel to show the audience what I saw because I couldn't believe it. And I said, this girl she is really just in the seat on her phone scrolling with earbuds in, and this girl's choking it behind her. It's no way. And again, I would be so sorry. I couldn't even fix my mouth to even say it was her mother and her sister fault. I couldn't do that. All I could do was ask for their forgiveness and ask God to forgive me. That's all I would be able to do. I couldn't even
And
dare fix my mouth.
she seemed so Nonchalant.
about it. Like she didn't, and I'm like, you only crying because you don't want to go to jail. That's it.
Exactly. Like her face, she has no emotions in her
No
face. Like, damn, you
remorse.
don't have no
None.
remorse, nothing.
None. Nope. Nope. And again, not even to be funny. Even if you serve 20 years, you 27, you could come out when you 47. You still can live a full life. That little girl will never see. That girl won't even see 7 because she died at 6. How dare you? Hey, Genesis. I was done. I was done with it. But
Well, she said, I made a mistake. You guys are trying to put me in jail for 10, 20 years on a mistake. I'm partially to blame, but there are other people to blame too, not just me. What kind of a cold-hearted person? Did the lawyer tell her to say that, or is that what she really did?
I think the lawyer did. I think the lawyer tried it. I think that was supposed to be their defense, because I know he saw that video and was like, "What can I do to get her out of this?" So try to get her out of this.
And then what the bus's shoulder harness cut off her airway. Not with
the sister. That's how I said the sister wasn't even on the bus. I could see if the sister was playing with her or rotated her or tried to adjust the seatbelt or something. There was nobody else on the bus but the aide. So again, you're the only one responsible. The driver is driving. The driver can't go back there and help her. You the only one that was supposed to be sitting next to her. So had you been sitting next to her, even with earbuds, you would at least saw something was going. She would have saw her twitching or moving funny. You know what I mean? So I'm just like, how dare you say that? And welcome everybody. Good morning. And I'm taken by her. No, this is not pre-recorded. We are live. Please hit that like button, hit that subscribe and share. Thank you. I appreciate y'all. And shout out to Genesis for having me up here. I appreciate you.
Yeah. With all this other stuff going on, there's way bigger stories that are going on, especially these children. I have an autistic child myself, you know what I'm saying? And I was lucky that she is not nonverbal in a wheelchair. However, I could never imagine if I took her sit her on a bus and then I get a call like that. That has got to be a gut wrenching call to get. The fact that she didn't notice until they were at school.
That's the craziest thing ever. That's how, and I'm like, not to even be funny.
What is your job? What
are you there for? Like, what are you there for? Even my child, he's not autistic, but I check on him like, y'all, we good, everybody all right. And even again, his friends or any other, when I would go on school trips with them, I would just still check on another child, because that's just, you check on children. They're kids. Yeah. You just check on them. I don't get it.
Honey, I'll be in my office. If I hear Offset being too quiet, I'm like, okay, hold on, Offset. I gotta call her name out, make sure she's all right, And then so the prosecutor says there's no proof the family was at fault. In the video, you could tell that she was sliding down, so it wasn't buckled in, Davila said. Right. Well, then isn't that your job to make sure that she's buckled?
That's the thing. And again, when you were strapping her in, if you felt like she wasn't properly strapped in, you didn't. Again, while you on your phone, maybe call the mom. Can you guys make sure she's strapped in better? Next time that or something. You didn't even do that, so you didn't feel that way that day. You just trying to say anything to get off. You know what I mean? To get off on those charges.
And then it says in the video, you can tell she was sliding down, so it wasn't buckled in.
Right.
The video says, so she's blaming them.
Right.
And then the prosecutor says, but you said you didn't look at her when you got on the bus.
Exactly.
She says, no, I didn't.
Exactly.
And the jury shown the entire bus ride to Claremont Elementary School, which showed Davila constantly on her phone, earbuds in both ears, sitting in front of Williams, not checking on her at all during the ride. Her one job that day was looking after Williams' well-being. She didn't do it. She was not if she was sitting where she was supposed to, she would have seen. So they dropped the aggravated manslaughter, and now she's only dealing with endangering the welfare of a child for the incident. So they up to 10 years is what she can get for that?
Up to 10 years. So basically half the sentence that she would have gotten had she been found guilty for the manslaughter charges. So hopefully she gets the the full amount of that sentence. But she has yet to, she hasn't been sentenced yet. Oh, and I forgot to add this insult to injury, Genesis. You ready for this one?
Mm-hmm.
So after she was found guilty, right? because she had a clean record. I'm doing air quotes because she had a well. Well, actually, I'm taking away the air quotes because she actually does. She doesn't have a record at all. Um, she was released and she's due to be sentenced in 6 weeks. So she has 6 weeks to live a free life, or to live a life of freedom, or possibly, hopefully, hopefully she doesn't, but possibly flee, in her own self because she doesn't want to enter jail or face her punishment. But 6 weeks to be sentenced to see what she's gonna do, and they released her, and she's gonna be able to come back to court. She should have immediately went to jail right after that
She
guilty
didn't. So
verdict.
she didn't actually. So she probably went in and then got out like probably the next day based on like the legal thing. What they
But
do.
what the trial was 4 days. The trial was 4 days, and um now again, like I said, remember, welcome everybody if you're just now joining us. I said earlier, this incident happened in 2023. So she just now went to court in 2025. She just now went to trial for it. So for 2 years, she's been out free, and this mother has been grieving and just been suffering in pain for the loss of her child. So the trial was 4 days. They found her guilty on the 9th of this month, and well, they found her not guilty on the manslaughter charges. However, guilty on the endangering the welfare of a child. And after the guilty verdict, after the case concluded, she was able to go home. She's going to be sentenced in 6 weeks. That's another month and a half.
So she's been out for 2 years ever since. And let me tell you
Yeah.
what they do. Let me tell you how they do these trials. Okay, just so y'all don't know what y'all know. What they'll do is the lawyer will keep delaying the trial so that it's not in the news and it's not so heavy on the judge's mind and the jury's mind. Right? They purposely push the case back and back and back and back so that if there's any news or whatever going on, it does not influence the jury's decision. So they purposely do that. That's a tactic that they do.
Right. Or I know all about like stall tactics and things like that. So it doesn't bring a lot of media attention. So they won't get a lot of press outside their homes. They won't get protesters and things like that. I definitely understand what you're saying. And this is why I do these type of stories. I try to bring awareness to the underdogs. I try to bring awareness to the little people. You know what I mean? Because it's just something. Again, first of all, I always my whole, well, not my whole thing, but like majority of my content, and what I try to bring my sense of style or where I'm from to and my flair to my content. So I'm always going to report on anything dealing with New York or the tri-state area, which includes New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Connecticut, even though those are like 3 or 4 states, but we all consider that the tri-state area. My immediate surrounding areas, I try to bring awareness to it because stories like these are not going to get national attention. But this is wrong because this can be anybody's child. There are a lot of children out here with special needs, not just autism, cerebral palsy, any type of other, special needs that they're having, disabilities, and they're not able to articulate themselves at 100%. And for the caregivers and the people that are designated, and you took a job to take care of them, you should do that job. That's what you signed up for. If you
30
don't,
minutes. That's all you got to do is 30
that's
minutes.
it.
Just take care of that child.
That's it.
Then you can scroll away.
And then you can scroll away, and that's what I said. I said it wasn't even like she had other kids on the bus that she had to make further stops. If you would have got this little girl to school, got her in her classroom, all right, y'all have a good day. We'll see you back at 3 or whatever like that. You could have went on social media and had a whole heyday to yourself. But now you gonna be on social media, all right, on a jail computer. Now you go do that because I'm done with this lady. I was so mad. I was like, 30 minutes cost you the rest of your life, cost this lady the rest of her life, and cost this child her life. That's wrong.
It's so wrong. And then to only get a manslaughter charge, if this was a white child, I'm sorry, I have to say this. If this was a white child,
Yeah, she'd have got the
you
book on
understand?
her.
And
Yeah.
even though she looks like she's Latino.
Yep. Davila. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep.
And I'm not sure who the judge is, who the prosecutors were, or who was involved with that. Because the judges and stuff are in with the prosecutors. However,
They all
If
working together. It's all
but you
it's
know
one
what?
big family affair. Yep.
Exactly. And so
Yep.
a lot of times they'll because of the person is
Yep.
because they also see Hispanics as Caucasian. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying?
Yep.
Let's be real. And
Yep.
what they'll say is, well, we don't want to ruin this woman's life by
Yep.
putting her in
Yep.
jail for a
Yep.
mistake. This is what they do.
Yep. And I'm telling, and I'm gonna say one more thing. That I feel that might have helped a bit or went in her favor. The fact that she didn't have a criminal record. So they said, she's a young girl, she's a young lady. She didn't really mean it, or she's never been arrested a day in her life. That's not to say she's never done anything wrong. She just never been caught. You know what I'm saying? Like
And who knows if she just didn't care because it was let's not get into that, but I'm just gonna say,
that part. Yep, it's
I'm
true.
not, you know what I'm saying? Had it been probably another thing, she'd probably been sitting right next to that baby. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying?
Yep. Yep. That's what I'm. And again, I'm not. Again, I don't want to draw. Start race wars or
Allegedly.
allegedly. I don't. But again, I thought the same thing. I said, had that been a child of, your cultural background, or what I'm saying, or would you have taken more care, or would you have, what I mean, would you have taken the extra step to just sit next to her, or what I'm saying, like, or what I'm saying, if she was a part of your culture and you can
And I think
identify
that
with her
there
better.
should be a thing about the speedy trial aspect of like not allowing lawyers to keep like delaying stuff, because now you can see she has no remorse. Like there's
That
if
part.
they would have like actually took her to trial immediately, then you probably would have seen some level of like I don't even know.
Right.
We would know whether or not she
right.
was remorseful or not. So I don't know whether
Right.
because it's been 2 years that she's just not connected to the situation anymore. But to
That
me,
part.
like
That part. She's had time to digest it. She's had time to kind of block it out and move it out of her head. Her mother has lived with this for 2 years. Every day she goes in that child's room. She looks at that child's bed. She looks at her books. She looks at her computer, whatever it is that the little girl had, her toys. She looks at everything, looks at pictures. That lady is living in I hate to say it, and I hate to say it like this, but it is a living hell every day. That's torture. That your child's not there, but all her belongings, all of her clothes, or her room is set up the way it is. But in her wheelchair, probably was still the wheelchair probably was in evidence, for the trial. But just any devices that she used. It just anything reminds you of her. You sit down and have dinner, a chair is empty, like just anything.
my thing is that it should not have the fact that she had to run in and get the nurse to perform CPR.
Yeah.
The moment that she found out that child should have whatever was like not survived, whatever slumped over, she should have performed CPR. The bus
That
driver
part.
should have ran and got the nurse,
That part.
and then
That's
she probably would have even survived this situation. But this is talking about training. Like you're not following the training, you're
Right.
not doing what you're supposed to do,
Right.
and and how are you a person looking at the special needs and you don't know CPR? Why do you have to run and get the nurse? What are we doing?
I forgot to tell you this part, because as you're speaking, more details are coming to my memory. She also tried to say she wasn't properly trained. Well, the company provided proof that she's been trained every year for 7 years. So that means she's worked there for at least 7 years. That means she's been neglecting children like this. I'm sure this isn't her first incident, but this is the first time a child has perished on her watch. Because she tried to say, oh, I wasn't properly trained. And when that didn't pan out, and when the company provided all the trainings that they've given her every year for 7 years, then she shifted it to the family.
Wow. So she tried to initially blame the company and say, I wasn't trained.
That part.
So is she trying to say she wasn't trained in CPR?
I don't know, not specifically CPR. She said she wasn't trained as far as protocol, for being a bus aide on the bus. But I'm like, what do you think you're there for? You think you're there to sit on your phone? Like, let's be real. You're not there to sit on your phone, so don't even pull that. But
right. I'm trained not to sit on my. Well, they didn't train me. I couldn't get on my earbuds and on my phone scrolling Instagram.
Right. So they pulled out their proof and said, no, you were trained every year for 7 years. So that means you knew well enough that you were not supposed to be on your phone. And that's when she shifted it to the family. That's what I said. The law, and again, I know I know the laws of the land. Everybody's have the right to to have a good defense or be defended. But to blame that family, that was disgusting to me, and that was appalling. And I was just like, ugh. And I was just, it was so much to report in this story. But I wanted to just show, everybody, just please be mindful. Please, and it's a lot going on out here. It's a bigger picture out here. But to lose a child or even a loved one, that can just even shatter your world. You will block out what's going on in the world if something like this happens to you. So just everybody be mindful. Get people's phone numbers and things like that. My son used to ride the bus to school when he was younger, I had the matron's cell phone number, and I would call her every day when I had to put him on the bus and go to work. I would call her to make sure, okay, are you guys at school? The standard third, and make sure he's safe. Because it's getting to that point now. And this social media, we have to be mindful. Of course, we start scrolling through these reels and things like that, these funny clips, and send them to people. But we have to be mindful. We're at work and doing a job. Let's be mindful to stay professional. Do what we need to do. You can scroll on lunch, on your break. But if you are dealing with children, you definitely have to be mindful, because in a blink of an eye, something can happen to a child, and a special needs child especially. You are there to fill in the gap for them and to be their extra eyes and ears and be that protector for them, because they can't do it for themselves. And I hate reporting on stories with kids, but I had to.
So here's a more
school bus aide over the death of a little girl in her care on the bus.
Now, that girl, just 6 years old, she was strangled by her safety harness as her aide sat in a seat in front of her, looking at her cell phone. Moments ago, a jury found that aide not guilty of the most serious charges.
New Jersey reporter Tony Yates in the courtroom when that verdict was read. She's live in Somerville tonight for us. Tony.
Bill and Sandra, Amanda Davila would have been facing 20 years in prison if she was convicted on any of those manslaughter charges. This afternoon, she walked out of the court knowing that would not be her fate.
How do you find Ms. Davila as to count one of the indictment, charging her with aggravated manslaughter?
Not guilty.
Najma Nash listened to the jury's verdict in silence in the courtroom, her emotions coming out after gathering her thoughts.
Even if she was found guilty on all counts, I still wouldn't have closure, because I still don't have my child. She's gone forever. And I can't do it anymore.
After 2 days of deliberations and nearly a half dozen questions about the testimony over the 4-day trial, the judge deciding that former bus aide Amanda Davila was not guilty of aggravated manslaughter or reckless manslaughter in the death of 6-year-old Faja Williams. A main part of the evidence, video from inside the school bus back in July of 2023, showing Faja being suffocated by the shoulder harness as she slumped lower in her wheelchair while Davila was in the seat in front of her, on her phone, on Instagram, sending text messages and making calls to acquaintances, never once checking on the child until they arrived at Claremont Elementary School, finally summoning a school nurse to try to save Faja's life. The jury did find Davila guilty of child endangerment. Her attorney, Michael Policastro, blamed Faja's family for not properly securing her in her chair, causing the bus harness to choke her. He called it a tragedy, saying no one should have been charged, but his client now faces 10 years in prison.
She's upset, but she's probably cried every day since this happened.
Oh my God.
The only time I didn't see her cry as much was on the stand, but in the back, and she tried to keep a stiff upper lip.
Oh my God.
Did you hear that clown? Did you hear that clown?
Oh my God.
When I tell you, I was ready to throw my phone. I was ready to throw my computer. I was ready to go find this dude. I said, yo, what the hell are you laughing at? What you chuckling about?
She's probably what the fuck is so? I'm sorry. I mean to curse. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm telling you. When I tell you, I went from sad to cry to like, yo, I'm ready to roll down on this dude. She's probably cried every day this whole trial. That mother's crying every day for 2 years. When I tell you,
who is this lawyer? We need to write something to the law board. Who is this lawyer? What's his name? We need to listen, y'all.
Clown.
We need to find out who this lawyer is, because what in the hell was that? What was that?
That was so distasteful. I was like, she's probably crying every day.
Man, bro, like look.
She's upset. But you know, she's probably cried every day since this happened. And the only time I didn't see her cry as much was on the stand.
Is he laughing?
This man has a smile on his face. I would sue him just for I don't even know what you could sue him for.
Sue something. I don't know.
I
Like,
would find
what
something.
in the hell?
I would find something. I would sue him too. You want to laugh? You think it's funny?
What the hell is funny about this? What is
Her
going
mother
on?
has-
These lawyers are cold.
They shiesty. They shiesty. Her mother has been crying every day for 2 years. Are you kidding me? Her mother done missed 2 Christmases without her daughter, 2 birthdays.
And I bet you she wasn't crying. Because the fact that he's laughing, saying that she was crying, I bet you if you got a body with some people body language specialists to like say whether or not he was telling the truth. They'd be like, no, she wasn't crying. You know what I'm saying? Because when you laugh, because it doesn't match.
Exactly. For the mere fact he even came out and chuckled about it and stuff. She was probably your client's not a victim, sir. You should have just came out and said she's very remorseful. We're very sad. This is an unfortunate incident.
You happy because he felt like he won.
Our prayers go out to the family, something, whatever. And again, when she goes in that prison and they find out what she's in there for and what happened to her, a lot of inmates in there with disabled children are gonna give her a warm welcome.
What is this guy? Michael Policastro.
He sounds
Michal Policastro. If anybody got some time, y'all need to find out where his law thing is, and there needs to be letters written to somebody. I don't even know.
More than likely, he's Italian because that's Jersey, and a lot of I'm not being funny. Like Jersey household, a lot of Italians live in Jersey, so he's probably Italian, and he's in Jersey somewhere in a nice area in Jersey. Yep, Policastro. Yeah, he's probably
zero remorse, zero nothing.
I
mean, she found the sleaziest lawyer there was. Like this guy's a sleazeball.
The only time I didn't see her cry.
And probably took on the case because it was getting media attention. So that's gonna give him a little bit of clout.
And he just so happy he won. He's not even caring about how this looks to the family. Like, what are you doing, bro?
The only time I didn't see her cry as much.
Like he want to crack up. Like he just wants to bust out laughing.
That's why I said that mother needs to sue the
the
Department of Education. Everybody.
He said on the stand.
Yeah, like horrible. Look at it. He has a smile. Look at that still picture. He has a smile on his face right now. I couldn't believe it, y'all. You telling me? No thanks.
Who's the governor of New Jersey?
Murphy. Is it Murphy? It was the big dude. Hold on, let me Google it real quick. I think it's Governor Murphy.
Listen, y'all. We need to write some letters about this lawyer because there should be some kind of I don't know, like laws about decorum in a situation like this.
Phil Murphy. Mm-hmm.
Phil Murphy. People write to the governor. This is not cool. Like he should not be laughing and kiki and about the
at the loss. First of all, at the loss of life, at the loss of a child, at the loss of a disabled child. It's totally he's desensitized. That's uncouth. He's not even. That's not protocol. That's the animalistic right there. That's savagery right there. You're laughing in this lady's face. You're laughing at her pain. You're mocking the loss of her child, and you feel it's a win because your client's not doing 20 years. And she needs to be on something where if she does get out and she does serve that 10 years or however long she's going to serve, she needs to be on something where she can never work with kids ever again.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Can't be around kids. Nothing.
Yep. It need to be just like a registry for them. It need to be a registry for them too. They need to make one up and everybody need to, whoever did something bad to a child or neglect the child, you can't work with children no more. And welcome everybody. I appreciate y'all. We appreciate y'all.
Find out who the judge is. Write a letter. Something. Who was the judge?
All of that.
Let me go back and find out who the judge.
Oh yeah. I think when she was on the stand, I think they showed it.
Wouldn't the judge be responsible for that? Like,
I don't. But for him laughing, I don't know about that part though.
I mean, can't they like? Cause he was just tired and just like, like, okay, y'all were ready to like deliberate on it, like,
yeah, well,
because it was going too long. You know what I'm saying?
Was not guilty of.
Well, I about to say the case was only like 4 days. I mean, the trial was only 4 days, but I mean, not to be fun again. They're all decent because they all working together. The lawyers know the judges know the bailiff know the prosecutors. You know what I'm saying? Only people that's in there that's strangers are the jurors. That's it. The court clerk, they all know each other. You can see the judge's name on his nameplate in front of him. I don't know if you can see it over the closed captions.
Judge, wait. Okay, so we know who the governor is. Who we say the governor? So someone type in the governor name. I listen. I charge people in my audience to write a letter about the way that this lawyer, how disgusting that was. You know what I'm saying? Because he needs to be held accountable. Because that's not right. You know what I'm saying? Like, what are you doing? He's just so happy to be in front of the damn camera. You know what I'm saying? Let me see. Wait. Judge Honorable Peter Tobert, PJCR. Peter Tobert. People, please. I mean, I know it's probably asking a lot, but just I don't know if there's an email we can find to this person. We could all send emails in. We need to do something because this is not cool. We need to stop bowing down every time somebody do something. Because I know the next time the thing is gonna be, well, I forgive her. That's what we do. Well, I forgive her. No. Everything need to be done. All that forgiveness and stuff. I get you forgive her, but we need to start to step up when we have situations like this in our community. We need to stop being as forgiving people that like just roll over and just let things happen to our children.
Aide Amanda Davila was not guilty of aggravated manslaughter or reckless manslaughter for not properly securing her in her chair and should have been charged, but his client now faces 10 years in prison.
She's upset, but she's
upset. I know that if we had a person that knows body language and voices and all, she's upset. Come on now. This is pissing me off. I'm getting pissed. I'm like, dude, come on.
Cried every day since this happened. The only time I didn't see her cry as much was on the stand, but in the back, and she tried to keep a stiff upper lip.
Davila remains free, but for this, she has a clean record.
She should have went straight to jail right after they found her guilty. If she was a black person, they would not have let her leave. She would have left that courthouse and went straight to jail. Why is she out? What are we doing here? What is up with our judicial system? What is going on? Oh my God. Okay, it's a waste of time. Nothing gonna happen to them. But you know what? Bottom line is that maybe people will start to pay attention to okay, how they maybe somebody will say something like, bro, you can't be right. What are you doing, sir?
Not to be funny, if that was one of their kids, a whole law would have been put in place. there would have been a whole piece of
if it was Katie, it would have been Katie law or whatever.
Katie law or Megan's law, whatever it was, it's Julie's law or whatever, it would have been a piece of legislation put in place that would stop things like this. And why? Not to be funny. And again, partially because they got the complexion for the connection, but also more importantly, they go to their local council meetings, their district council meetings, they vote, they protest, they will put things in writing. See, unfortunately, and I hate to take it here, but a little piece of it, and I ain't gonna go there too deep, but unfortunately, what we kind of like to do is and we're gonna start breaking stuff and robbing and looting and acting a fool and being ghetto and rude and ignorant. I hate to say it, but we do a little piece of it. But what they do, they put things in place. They have HOAs. They have, block meetings and block safety meetings and things like that. What we do, they ain't got nothing to do with me. They over there arguing and fighting. I don't know what they got going on. No, they will call the authorities. What we call it snitching. No, you call the police. You pay taxes. That's what they're there for. You go solve that crime. I'm not doing it. I'm not breaking up no fight. You get over there and go do something with yourself.
Right.
I'm not doing it.
We
And I'm
gonna jump
sorry.
out
It is
there
what
and
it
try
is.
to fight and then get arrested. You know
Right.
what I'm saying?
I hate to say it, but that's what we do. But what do? They will get in your face. What did we see that lady doing over there in California? I believe he was a councilman or something. She was like, "What? My kid's school burnt down. What are you gonna do about it?" She all in that man's face. He was like, She said, "Are you gonna call the president and do something about it?" He said, "I'm literally on the phone with the man right now. Can you just give me a second?" No, I
But you
didn't
know
know.
that was staged too. That was
That was
staged.
so weird. I was like, okay, really? I was like,
Come
because
on,
where's
that
his
was
security?
staged as a mug. Come on
I
now.
was like,
He
but
said the governor just happened to be out there while she driving past.
right, that whole part with nobody on the street.
Walked up to her.
But the thing was, even if so I was like, okay, this is like a little weird. But the thing was, I just said, like, even if it was staged or not, allegedly, what you know what I mean, whatever we gonna call it,
She was able to get the
she
connection
was
to be
able
able
to
to
get
walk up to him and
and
say
they get
something.
and that's going viral because that is what they do on the regular. That's their normal. They will question you. So what's going on? They can be as crooked as a roadway. But you guess what? You do something to them and their kids. Wait, I want answers and I want them now. We better start getting that same way too and demanding answers and demanding accountability. That's what it is.
Yeah, that's look that's look, right here. Here we go.
Someone night Island Street gone. Apocalypse.
Around every corner.
Because if you're voting and you're picking people for softness or for the fuzzy feeling you got because they seem like they're good people, I want to know that we're going to have someone in charge.
Then Rachel spots a face she recognizes.
Is that Gavin Newsom? That's the governor. That's the governor. Governor, I live here, governor. That was my daughter's school, governor. Please tell me what you're going to do. I'm not going to hurt him, I promise.
I'm literally talking to the president right now to specifically answer the question of what we can do for you and your daughter.
Can I hear it? Can I hear your call? Because I don't believe it.
California Governor Gavin Newsom is being criticised by some for water mismanagement as hydrants ran dry while fires multiplied.
So I have to get cell service.
So let's get it. Let's get it. I want to be here when you call the president.
I appreciate it. I'm doing that right now. And it's
And she want to be there when he called the president, honey. She want to be there when he called the president. You hear me? She was not playing.
I said, where is his security? She a little bit too close up in his face. That couldn't have been Jamal, whoever. Because I was like, lady, you better back up.
Honey, they would have listen. If it would have been Tyrone coming up, I want you to call the president.
Come on,
sir, please back up.
He was, and I mean,
Probably
and
would
first
have
of all,
had things drawn and everything. Like,
but
listen,
Genesis, hold on. You paused it at the right point. He was like, I'm literally on the phone with him right now. Look at his phone. He's just scrolling through. He's not even on a call. Oh my God, this guy lied to this lady. Yo, he's not even on a call.
Oh,
he's not even on a call, bro. Yikes! I just saw that. Oh, yeah.
Bro, he was scrolling through the numbers. Or
He's
something.
just scrolling through his. I don't even know what he's scrolling through, but he damn sure ain't on no phone call. Wow.
I'm on the
Yikes.
phone.
I hate to laugh. It's not
now.
funny. The flight ain't funny.
Thinking, I'm lying. I'm gonna do something about this.
Yeah,
But she get to like scream in his face. Look.
immediately get reimbursements, individual assistance, and to help you. I'm devastated. I'm so sorry, especially for your daughter. I have 4 kids. Losing the school.
Everyone who went to school there, they lost their homes. They lost 2 homes because they were living in one building another. Governor, please tell me.
Living in one home, building another. Like, okay. But she got to talk to the president. We scared. It ain't gonna do nothing. We not gonna do nothing.
Yeah.
You know, first thing we talk about is what we not gonna do. It ain't
Yeah.
gonna do nothing, so I
Yeah.
ain't gonna do nothing. I'm just gonna.
That's the first point. That's the first point. And I'm not being funny. I grew up the way I grew up. And I'm not being funny. And this is not to say a slight of shade to nobody. Or I think I'm better than people, but my parents, my siblings, I have older siblings. I'm the youngest in my family. So if my mother couldn't come with me to school or do stuff, my siblings would come with me. They went to PTA meetings and stuff like that. We went to things like that. We went to rallies and, if they had things outside of the school or, sign this petition because we need more funding for the school or we need books or we need this. I'm just used to that. Now, don't get me wrong. I ain't, I wasn't that, I wasn't on the front lines with the,
PTA, all that, do the extra like PTA.
Right. I just was involved in things like that. So when it comes to something that either we want to speak up for, I'm used to saying, you know, come on, we got to get together. We got to do this. We got to voice our opinion. We got to write. We wrote letters to the president and all. We wrote letters to the governor. We did it as a class. I'm used to things like that. So bringing attention and awareness to stories like this, I'm like, yo, I got to fight for the underdog because this is wrong. Something needs to be put in place. Now, I don't know if this company's going to have a no cell phone policy or if they even have one in place. But we
They
do
probably
need,
do, and
they
she probably got
right.
fired. You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
right, and she probably broke that protocol. And given this day and age and this temperature and this climate, we can't even have a no cell phone policy because of all the mass situations that go on in these schools with these kids. These kids need their phones. And I'm a firm believer in that. And I fought for that with my son with the school. Oh, as soon as they come to school, they gotta lock their phones in a pouch and give them to us. No, because y'all not protecting these kids. They working in these schools and doing whatever they want. Keep your phone on you and put
Right.
it on silent. And don't even
Right.
let just walking in and go, I don't got it. I left it at home. You keep your phone on you. Don't get them
I
people.
hope
your phone.
that the family has a lawyer just as good, just as
Yep.
much of a joker as this guy is, and
Yeah.
his
Yup.
way
That's
into
what,
a
and that's what I
lawsuit.
said. And you know what? And I said, you know what? He gonna get his high. And I'm telling you, don't think just because nothing happens to them physically or right in that calm, in that calm and right in that moment. Nah, sue the city, sue the Department of Education, sue the bus company, sue everybody. So you guess what? His property taxes will go up. Then that's when he'll get a headache. That's what you do. That's how you get him back in the long run.
Have you tried to get in touch with the family at all, or were you just like, I'll just recover it and like not?
Yeah, no, because it's no way I can't. I'm way too sensitive for that stuff. I'm sorry. Just me even talking about it now, I'm already getting re-triggered and get mad about it again and over and over. But I can't even. I wouldn't even want to do that to that lady. I feel so bad for her. I feel so bad. This lady is living in turmoil every day. I can't even imagine nothing like that. Not with my kid.
Sarah was asking, does the family have a GoFundMe at all for the attorney?
I'm not sure. I'm not gonna lie to you. And I will follow up with that for you. I'm not too sure. I can definitely try to Google it, but I'm really not too sure. But I can definitely try to follow up with this story with it.
We definitely listen. It's not that for the people that's in this audience, you know what I'm saying? Because a lot of people come catch the replay on my channel. So even though not a lot of people are not here right now watching, what'll happen is on the replay, anyone on the replay, please.
But she's probably cried every day since this happened.
We need to Michael Papala Castro. We need to write some letters and make sure that this guy right here, who's laughing, we need to make sure that we write letters in about this guy, because that's crazy. You so happy to be on the news and everything like that. You trying to be charismatic or what? I don't know, but no.
But she's probably cried every day since this happened. The only time I didn't see as much as I understand, but in the back, and she tried to keep a stiff upper lip.
Davila remains free, but for this, she has a clean record. She will be sentenced, though, in about 6 weeks. But now we're live here in Somerville. Tony Yates, Channel 7, Eyewitness News.
Yeah, so this was a very sad story, very disheartening to see. I was going to cover like the Twitch boss, but I think this just needs a thing of its own. I'm gonna cover I'm gonna do Twitch boss after this about the unlawful NDA that happened with him. So if you guys get a chance, if you want to come back, I'm gonna do that right after this. But I want to just keep this what it is. Thank you, Melanie Jones. Please check out her channel, Melanie Jones. Please subscribe to her. She's doing a lot of stuff, when it really comes down to real stories. It's like I said, it's so easy to just get caught up in the, Diddy and the Jay-Z and the this, that, the other. But there's real things going on here. It's gone. Oh, okay. The echo. Yeah. So there's real things going on. Melanie, you have anything to say? Any last things you want to say at the end, to close this out? You there?
My computer is going so slow. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. Oh, I'm so sorry. Hello? I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. My computer's going slow. I just sent you I was trying to go on the site and I sent you some numbers if you want to put it in the chat, or that's the information for the in Somerset, I believe, in New Jersey. My bad, y'all. I'm sorry. My computer was going a bit slow. But yeah, I just again like you said, Genesis, it's so easy to report on the Diddy information and the Jay-Z and the this and the that. And although again, my channel is and thank you for telling people to subscribe, Genesis. I appreciate that. My channel is a bit of a variety. I give you a bit of the mess. I give you a bit of the YouTube mess. I give you a bit of celebrity tea or celebrity information. But I also like to bring you real news for everyday people, for underdogs, because I'm regular. Like, I just consider myself regular degular. And I live in my city. I walk around my city. I travel. I have family in Jersey. Like I said, I have special needs children in my family. So this hits home. So when I see people going through situations like this, especially unnecessarily, my heart goes out to them, and my heart goes out to the Williams family and to that young child. And if you guys want to call or write them or get the information on how to write and report to them on how this was like a cruel and unjust situation and how she deserves more time. I'm sorry, she shouldn't have been found not guilty. But
Well, the judge is going to be the one that actually dictates the time. That's why I'm like, okay. Earlier in the live, I did show who that judge was. So please call into the judge and let them know that the community is in an uproar about this situation, that this lawyer is out of line. That is crazy. She should not if enough people call in, so we have 100 people watching this thing right now, right? And 100 people call the judge and say, we need justice on this situation. Do not allow her passing away to just be something that she just gets 5 years. And enough people call in because she got 6 weeks, right? And the judge gonna be covering all these other different cases in that 6 weeks, and it's not gonna matter to him, right?
Yeah.
So we call in and we keep it on his mind. Like, no, we are a community and we're not going for it. Like, y'all, you need to do something about this. If he gets those messages, okay, and I did show, I don't know, should I show the judge again? Whatever. Okay, call into that.
Show him again. Show us behind again. Show in that laughing Lord. Show him again. Since he want to be funny, no, we're gonna show you we're gonna put you up on the screen, clown, and we're gonna write about you. Yep. Because I know we as a people, we as a society, we think, oh, this ain't gonna do nothing. Trust me, it works. We may not see it immediately, but it's gonna get to where it needs to get. But we got to do the work. We can't just say that it's not gonna work and don't do anything. That's why it's not doing anything, because we're not doing anything.
We're not doing nothing. We're not
doing it, and then other people are thinking the same way, so nothing's getting done. So how are we supposed to expect change? We got to be the ones to start it, initiate it, and just try to do something with it.
Yeah, so
reaching a verdict in the trial of a school bus aide over the death of a little girl in her care on the bus.
Now, that girl, just 6 years old, she was strangled by her safety harness as her aide sat in a seat in front of her, looking at her cell phone. Moments ago, a jury found that aide not guilty of the most serious charges.
New Jersey reporter Tony Yates in the courtroom when that verdict was read. She's live in Somerville tonight for us. Tony.
Bill and Sandra, Amanda Davila would have been facing 20 years in prison if she was convicted on any of those manslaughter charges. This afternoon, she walked out of the court knowing that would not be her fate.
How do you find Ms. Davila as to count one of the indictment, charging her with aggravated manslaughter?
Not guilty.
Najma Nash listened to the jury's verdict in silence in the courtroom, her emotions coming out after gathering her thoughts.
Even if she was found guilty on all counts, I still wouldn't have closure because I still don't have my child. She's gone forever. And I can't do it anymore.
After 2 days of deliberations and nearly a half dozen questions about the testimony over the 4-day trial, the judge deciding that former bus aide Amanda Davila was not guilty of aggravated manslaughter or reckless manslaughter in the death of 6-year-old Faja Williams.
So
a main part of the evidence, video from inside.
The judge made that decision that she was not guilty on that charge. Okay, his name is the Honorable Peter Tobert. Peter J. Tobert. And what township was this in New Jersey? Hold on, I think it said that we need to hit
4-day trial. The judge deciding that former bus aide.
The judge decided, right? So that means that if he decided that she is not guilty of manslaughter. He's also probably going to decide that she does not get the highest amount of time in prison. So we need to call in and do our proper thing as a community to make sure that we at least speak out and say no, she needs to be given because she was negligent.
Amanda Davila was not guilty of aggravated manslaughter or reckless manslaughter in the death of 6-year-old Faja Williams. A main part of the evidence, video from inside the school bus back in July of 2023, showing Faja being suffocated by the shoulder harness as she slumps lower in her wheelchair while Davila was in the seat in front of her on her phone, on Instagram, sending text messages and making calls to acquaintances, never once checking on the child until they arrived at Claremont Elementary School, finally summoning a school nurse to try to save Faja's life. The jury did find Davila guilty of child endangerment. Her attorney, Michael Policastro, blamed Faja's family for not properly securing her in her chair, causing the bus harness to choke her. He called it a tragedy, saying no one should have been charged, but his client now faces 10 years in prison.
She's upset, but she's probably cried every day since this happened.
Michael Michal Policastro. We need to call in on him. Okay. Straight up. Straight up. Michael Policastro. Go ahead, write that down. And I gave you guys the number to call into. Please call into that number. Call into the whatever, call in. We need to be, as a community, we need to not just sit by when all this stuff is happening. Straight up, for real. This is heartbreaking, And she was such a beautiful, autistic children have the most beautiful big old eyes that you'll ever see. You know what I'm saying? They're very expressive with their eyes, and she was just a beautiful child, and we need to.
They're very charismatic. They're very charismatic because they're so descriptive and animated with their gestures and with their responses and things like that. They are, and it's just like she was 6. She was just thriving. She was just getting, getting her feet off the ground. And it's just like, and again, you don't know where her development could have gone. You don't know how far she could have progressed. We don't know where she could have.
She probably could have regained her being able to, all type of stuff.
All that, gain more skills and everything. Again, it's a spectrum, so they can move. It can go up. It can, it can evolve. We'll never know. We'll never know where her potential could have gone and where it could have been, because she's gone because you made a mistake. And then when she keeps saying a mistake, that started aggravating me. I was like, if she said a mistake one more time, like this girl's not a mistake. You're a horror show. You actually help facilitate an alignment. I won't say that red rum, but you know where I'm going with it.
Mm-hmm.
You actually help facilitate that. It's not a mistake. A mistake is stepping on somebody's foot. Oh, my bad. I'm sorry. A mistake is bumping into somebody. I'm sorry for, pardon me. That's not taking a life. You help take a life. So please stop saying a mistake.
Mistake is not negligence. Okay. Negligence is negligence. Okay. If you neglect to eat to feed your children, you can't say it's a mistake. If you neglect to take your child out of a hot car and bring them into the grocery store with you, that's not a mistake. You understand what I'm saying? That's not a mistake. That's you made a choice to scroll on your phone instead of doing your job, ma'am. That's not a mistake.
Absolutely. I was like, excuse me? I was like, excuse me. I was like, oh, you serious?
And then it makes a lot of sense why she had no remorse, because the lawyer had no remorse.
That part. He was, and I bet you
they had didn't see her cry as much as I understand. But in the back, and she tried to keep a stiff upper lip.
Stiff upper, like,
man, if you don't get up there, get out my damn face.
Yeah, that's and my thing is, they had, the lawyer client, attorney or client privilege or whatever. They done had them a little side conversation. Okay, this is what we're gonna do. This is what we're gonna tell them. We're gonna say it's the mother fault.
And lawyers are allowed to lie.
Yeah, legally, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Police are allowed to lie. Lawyers are allowed to lie. Law enforcement allowed to lie. Everything.
Right. I forgot what it's called when they interrogate you and they make you think you did it and you really didn't do it and you go along with it, something like that.
They're allowed to do that.
They're allowed to do that, and it's under the law. I was like, what kind of newfangled law we got going on?
Right. He not understand. So he could just say, yeah, she was crying. She was been broken up for the whole 2 years. Okay, well, this mother gonna be broken up for the rest of her life because of her daughter. So 2 years ain't nothing. Now I'm sure that child is going to, haunt this woman's dreams. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure. She gonna deal with that because that's crazy. But yeah, so we're reaching the hour and a half mark, and I was gonna go over the Twitch boss situation with that unlawful NDA that's going on with that.
Okay,
if you want to come back for that, you sure as heck can.
Oh, sure, yeah, no problem. If you want, because I actually did a video on that as well, and I would just
come back up because I want to give this its own thing and then do that next.
Definitely,
so I'm gonna set up the live for that, and I want you to come up for that because it's something about there's something going on with the legal system and how like we are treated as Black people in this system.
Yes. Systematic racism, child.
Yeah, so I this is what this whole I'm gonna do a whole series about like the law enforcement and systematic racism
That
when it
part.
comes to us. So
Did you? Did you cover the Robert Brooks story?
No, I didn't know about who's that.
Lord, that's another one. He was in I believe it was Marcy prison in upstate New York, and over a dozen COs, including I believe 14 people, including a nurse and a sergeant and 12 COs, literally took him in the infirmary and beat him to death.
I did see that story. I didn't really know that much about it to cover it, but yeah, you know what? We can probably do that one too.
I was if you want to do another live, I did a video on that one too as well.
Yeah, we can, because here's the thing. I've been I've been in the conscious community talking about, are we monkeys? But this stuff is way more important. You know what I'm saying? I would rather talk about this stuff because whether or not we're monkeys or not does not even matter. A Black woman and relationships, all that stuff. Okay. You know what I'm saying? But we out here we're passing away, and
at the hands of at the hands with negligence. And not to be funny, all this is negligence. I'm not being again. These stories all tie into each other, and the common denominator is negligence.
Straight up.
Because if you're thinking about Twitch boss, his wife, I'm not trying to blame her for what he did, or how he took his own life, but again, where were you? You're his wife, you're his partner. You didn't sense anything was going on with her mentally at all?
She did. That's why she wrote her little book, and then she had the nerve to go get his
that part
diary, and so yeah, we're gonna talk about that next.
Definitely.
It's 11:07, so in about 10 minutes we're gonna come back and talk about that.
So y'all in the chat, y'all make sure y'all come back, and I'll when Genesis sets up the live, I'll share it on my community wall, and y'all can come on back in. I appreciate y'all for being here, and I appreciate you for having me, Genesis. This was dope.
For sure. When it really comes down to it, I'm about the community. I'm about everything I've ever done in my life has always been I got a nonprofit I'm starting up now. I've always helped people probably the wrong way, but if I can use my platform to help people and uplift them the correct way, that's what I really want to do. So yeah,
that's dope. And I'm here to help any way I can. I appreciate that.
All right, for sure. So I'm about to set that live up. I'm about to send it to you. But shouts out, come back in about at 11:15 or it might be 12:15 your time. So
okay, gotcha.
I'm about to create it and send it to you now.
Okay. Alrighty. Okay, y'all. Now we'll see you in a little bit. What's up, No Lies Detected? I see y'all in the building. Y'all, we gonna come back at 12:15 Eastern Standard Time, y'all. I'm gonna put the when Genesis makes up the live and sends me the link, I'm gonna put it up on my community wall. So y'all come on right back.
Okay, for sure.
All right, thank y'all.
All right, peace.
Alchemize your energy. Darling, let your spirit be free. Don't give up. Keep on pushing through. Now is the time. It's all up to you. Alchemize your energy. My friend, let your spirit be free. Don't give up. Keep on pushing through. Now is the time. It's all up to you. No matter the storm, but hold the storm, we will always take flight. Keep on pushing through the darkness of night. There's no limit, let's reach for the sky. Shine so bright, from darkness to light.